This
before we get
conference
started.
will now be recorded.
Anyone, any questions, guys, before we can get started with PowerShell? So, how was the first day with PowerShell? Okay, fine, little bit confusing. So, let's do a revision again. Let's try to revise a couple of concepts and then let's go from there. Let's try to head a little slow again. Again and again, that's what I was telling is that my intention is not to make sure that you guys are an expert with PowerShell. That is something that I cannot promise. But my intention is that you need to have a little basics on what really PowerShell is. Not just a basic idea of what PowerShell is, what is a language and all that stuff. That's the idea that I really am, let's say, emphasizing on. So let's get started then. Let's go ahead and let's close this. Let's close this. Let's close this. Couple of things that are open. And let's open up our PowerShell console. And guys in the back, just let me know if the voice doesn't come. Okay, I'll just readjust the mic out here. Okay, let's start with this one. And again, this is our PowerShell console. And let's say, how do you go ahead and print an output in PowerShell? What is the command that we use? Write host, write
Right.
host to print
Yes. Yeah.
write host. So yes, again I'll split my console. I'll say it is write hyphen host, and then what should I, anything that I need to give here? I need to give in a quote. I need to give this inside a quote, and let's say something like hello world. Let's say something like hello world out here. And if I want to execute it, which button should I press here? How should I execute this out?
Yes.
F8,
F8.
F8 or this one? F5 or F8, anything like kind of
F8.
works. Hello world. And how do I change the color of, let's say, this particular background? Foreground color is
Foreground color.
space hyphen, then foreground color, then give a space, again give, let's say, the color of our choice, and let's go ahead and execute this out. Hello world out here. How do I store something in a parameter? Let's say hello world and say my name is something like this. Say my name is Kiran, and instead of saying Kiran, I want to give a parameter, is what I'm now telling. Dollar,
Dollar.
dollar something.
Dollar.
So let's go ahead.
Dollar X.
Let's
Yes.
say dollar X or dollar name, something like this, is equal to Kiran. And what kind of a data type is this, guys? It's a string. It's a string out here. So if I say it is dollar name and then start executing this out, saying my name is Kiran in yellow, and because Kiran is stored there, I'm able to go ahead and let's say print out whenever I say my name is, no, let's say dollar name, I'm able to print out the name out here. Let's say this is not name, but it is names. Okay, let's say it's not name, it's names out here. Okay, how do I store multiple names here? And array,
Using the arrow.
array declaration.
Same like dollar
How do I
name.
declare an array here?
Yes.
At the rate.
At the rate, parentheses. I'll say at the rate, open and then close parentheses, open and then close
Yes.
parentheses out here.
Single code.
Single quote or double quote will also work. Single or double, anything kind of works. And guys, is the voice okay in the back? Cool, right? Okay. Single, double quote, anything works, but just maintain one consistent order out here. If it's double quote, we can just go and maintain double quote. So I'll say it is Suresh or something like this.
What will happen if you don't give a quote, a single or double quote?
It will fail. It won't recognize as this scenario. If I take this out, it'll start failing because you're not following the syntax of, let's say, PowerShell. So it will tell, you know what, I don't really understand this out. But let's say if I don't give the code for numbers, it will work. An array of numbers, it's not a string, because now PowerShell is able to identify that this is a data type of an integer and not a string out here. So this is going to work. But
Okay.
if you pass a string, that won't work. If I say something like Kiran, if I say something like this,
So wherever we are giving a string, we should make sure we give a quote.
Yes, wherever you are giving a string, you should make sure you mention a quote out here. If you
Yeah.
don't mention a quote, it won't take it. It will fail. It will not understand that this is a string out here.
Now,
Okay,
And after
and
parameter, we do not use semicolon.
you do not use semicolon here. You just a comma here. It's not a semicolon. Semicolon comes in the for loop iteration. Semicolon meaning that's the
After
syntax of a for
parameter
loop.
closing.
I'm sorry.
Parameter next. After parameter closing.
After this one you're talking about, this one, right? Is
Yeah,
this the one
okay,
you're
okay.
pointing? Yeah. It's a comma and then it's a comma. It's a comma separated value. We call this as a CSV, comma separated values out here. And now here's the thing. I want to print out all these three names in an order. Let's say, okay, I'll just do this again. Yeah, why is it? Names. I pass something called names here and I'm using something called name here. It will be different values. So I'll say this is names. Execute this out. Then I am getting all the array being printed out in one way. The reason being, the write host command is expecting you to go ahead and pass something called as a string out here. Each and every time it's going ahead and telling you need to pass a string, not an array. Array won't work out here. So in order to make sure that I iterate over them, then what are we using here? For each, or can I do it with
Arlo.
for loop? Can I do it with a for loop? How do I do it with a for loop?
Yes.
Yeah, but firstly let's do one thing. Yeah, sorry, do you have a question? I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Okay, let's come back again. What is the syntax of a for loop? How do I go ahead and declare a syntax of a for loop? Let's first focus on that. What is the syntax here?
For
For,
each
not each, for loop. For,
I,
open, close
I equal,
parenthesis. Yeah, the bare
I
basic
equal
syntax.
to,
Let's not talk about the condition. Let's talk about the syntax out here. For, open, close parenthesis, and then open, close flower brackets. Inside the open, close flower brackets, you give the condition what needs to be executed multiple times, or you need to give the statement what you need to execute times. Here you need to give the condition. So what is the condition we can give here? Is equal to 0 and semicolon. Dollar I is
dollar I greater than or equal
space
to.
hyphen less than
Less than 3.
3,
3.
or can I do dollar names dot count, because instead of
Yes.
giving 3, 2 and etc., I'll depend upon directly the count of the array. I'll say names dot count out here, and I won't now give I plus plus. I won't give I plus plus here. Let's do one thing. Let's say write host, my name is dollar, just a second guys, can you please go on mute please? Dollar, open close parentheses, because I am declaring a parameter or I'm declaring a variable inside the quotes. So I'll say dollar names dollar I. I'm indexing over the array. I'm now indexing over the array, and here I'll do an I plus plus. Let's see now. Let's try to do this. It will definitely work. Maybe there is some syntax issue that you are declaring, but it will definitely work out here. Either you can declare it here or you can declare it here. Any which ways, it's going to act in the same way. Any which ways, it's going to do the same way out here. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see after the class. Let's see if you are able to do that. Let's give me a script. We'll see how it's not working and what you're doing there. Now I'll do a couple of things out here. Let's take the name out. Okay, let's say names.count. I'll take it out. I'll put a number here. Okay, and I'll say 100. What is going to happen right now? After 3, the loop will break, or will the loop continue? Yes, you won't get
Loop
any
will
kind of values out
continue.
here. Meaning, if I do this, what happened? Let's see here. Happened multiple times. Now it's telling my name is Kiran, my name is Mahesh, my name is Ravi, and then after that, it's giving a null value. Let's do one thing.
Not
I'll
bad.
change this condition. Sorry, does anyone have a question online, guys? Okay, I'll change this condition. I will say not less than, but I'll say greater than. What will happen now? What do you think will happen now in this condition? I'm saying it is not less than, I'm saying it is greater than 100. Let's try to understand the condition. This is important for me. Let's understand this condition. The condition is telling that, you know what, for I is equal to 0, meaning the value of I is 0, and if I is greater than 100, go ahead and execute the statement. Will this condition ever be met? The loop will never execute. Meaning,
No.
if I now say loop never got executed, the loop never will get executed. Let's do one thing. Let's say it is 101. For I is equal to 101. I'm not telling I is 0. I'm saying I is 101. What will happen? It works. But will it print any name?
Yes.
Yes.
It won't print any name.
No.
Yes, no? No. Because the
No.
first
No.
number is 101.
You want
Let's do one thing. Instead of printing out a name, let's go for $I directly. I'm not printing a name because we are all pretty sure that name is not printing. Name will not get printed out. Now, what this will happen here is that it will go into an infinite loop. This will result into an infinite loop because I don't have a circuit breaker out here. Whatever number that I declared here, 101, will always be greater than 100. So the next number will be 102, will be greater than 100. Third number will be 103. So from there on, this will never stop. This operation is never going to stop. Even if I leave it all day long, it will run all day long. How many other numbers it is going to get executed out here? This will never get executed. But let's say that after 1000 I want this to break. Getting my point or getting what my requirement is? But the condition should be the same. I cannot change my condition.
Break
Sorry,
condition.
someone
Using
had a
break condition.
if I is less than 1000 or if I is equal to 1000, I is equal to 1000, that's where the loop should break. I will say okay, fine, stop this out. Let's say CLS clear screen. I'll now put one more condition out here telling if I'm using something called as an if condition right now. I'm telling if I is equal to EQ is the operator 1000, I will give something called as a break the loop. This is what I'm now telling. So let's look at what will happen. Every time I is greater than, let's say, 101, it will go here. It will say, okay, fine, I is greater than 101. I'll print the number. I'll increment the loop. If I is equal to 1000, I'll just go ahead and break your loop. 999, because I is equal to 1000, that number won't be printed. I will have to say I is greater than or equal to 1000 to print that particular number, or I is less than or equal to 1000 to print that number. Getting this? This if condition right now is called the circuit breaker. If I don't give this circuit breaker, no matter how many, let's say, hours I leave this, the script will keep continuing. It will be, kind of running, because that's what I'm telling my script to do. Getting the point, guys? Getting here? Any questions till here? Anyone? Any questions till here? Good until here? Are we okay till here? Fine. Let's say control N. Now I want to go ahead and design an end-to-end program. What I want to do is this. I want to, let's say, create a calculator which calculates even and odd numbers. Meaning, the requirement here by, let's say, my end client is that give me a program which will take a user input. What input it should take? A number. If, let's say, you are a user, you're using this program, all you need to do is go ahead and give a number called, let's say, 999, something like that, some random number. When you pass a number, the script should tell whether the number is even or odd. That's the only thing the script should tell right now. That's the only thing what I need right now. So let's see, let's break our program down. Let's say the first thing that I need is a user input. User should be in a capable position to go ahead and input a number right now, any number. So for the user input, what is the logic that I need to use here? Read host, right? Read host. I'll say dollar number is equal to read hyphen host, because whatever the user is inputting, I want to store it in this particular variable called dollar number. I'll say please enter a number. Okay, just giving please enter a number right now, and I'll just do a write host here. Let's say write host. I'll say the entered number is, what should be the entered number? How should I give the entered number out to the user? No, the just the entered number. Whatever you are inputting, I'll just again give you the output telling that the entered number is this one, just for your confirmation. Dollar number,
Dollar number. Yes.
dollar number. I'll just put a foreground color here, give it a different color like cyan or something like this. Fine. This is what I'm doing firstly. So let's go ahead and save this program. Till now I haven't saved it. Now I'm saving my program. I'll give a new folder here, say 9 a.m. PowerShell. I will say the program name is even odd, and the extension for this is a .ps1 file. PowerShell is saved in something called .ps1. Just like PDF is saved like .pdf, text is saved as .text. PowerShell will be saved in .ps1. This is the extension out here. I'll say save. Let's execute this program. It's telling please enter a number. I'll say 899 something like this. Telling the entered number is 89 something like this. Is this what the operation? This is what the operation should do. It's doing great. Now what should I do is that whatever the number user is inputting, I need to check whether the number is even or odd. By very basic math, the only thing is that if a number is divided by 2, leaves a remainder 0, the number is even. If it doesn't, then it's odd. This is what I'm now telling. Meaning, if I divide this number that the user is giving me, this is a dollar number. If I divide this number that the user is giving me, and if that remainder will give me 0, I'll say the number is 0. I'll say the number is, let's say, even. So what I'll do is I'll say if. I'm opening a condition called if. The syntax again, open close parentheses, open close the condition out here, meaning open close slow brackets out here. I will say if, again I'm doing one more parenthesis inside it because this is a condition. If I'll say dollar number divided by 2, percentile 2 meaning divided by 2, if this entire value is equal to 0. Getting the concept, guys? Getting this? I'm telling this dollar number divided by 2 will give you a value. That value is always a reminder. What this gives you is a reminder out here. If this is equal to 0, then I will say that, you know what, right host,
The number is even.
even. I'll say the entered number is even. And if it's even, I want to print it out in, let's say, yellow. If it's odd, I want to print it out in red. Let's say foreground color is a yellow. Else. If will, let's say, can be followed up by something called else. If this condition is met, then please go inside this loop and execute it. Or else right host number is odd. So I'll just copy this statement, copy paste. I'll say odd. Let's say red. Something like, yeah, fine, not a problem. Something like this. Let's go ahead, save this program, execute it once again. Whenever you do something, please make sure to save it. How do you know whether it's saved or not? If you look at a file, in the very top of it, at the very top of here, you see a star. Star means it is not saved. If there is no star, means it is saved. So if I do some changes here, add multiple lines, do you see star here? Meaning unsaved. Do a control S to save this out. Now let's execute the script. Selling, please enter a number. Let's enter a random number like this, or let's start with a very basic numbers out here so that to make sure our program is working or not. Let's say 3. I know 3 is not number. It's 3. The entered number is 3. The entered number is odd. This is what it's now giving me. Let's execute the same program. Let's say 4. Even. Let's put a higher number and see whether it works. Even, because it's ending with 8, it's even. So this is how I'm now doing even and odd program right now, wherein I'm taking the input from a user, then going over a number, checking whether the number is even or not, and then going ahead and telling that, you know what, the number is even, the number is odd. The number can either be an even or an odd in this particular program. It cannot be even and odd. If it's even and odd, then there's some issue with your script. Any questions still here on what did we do? Again, let's try to, let's say, recap this one out. I'm giving the freedom to a user to go ahead and enter a number by using something called read host. And then I'm doing something called write host. The entered number is dollar number here. Then I'm saying if dollar number percentile 2 is equal to 0, then the condition is even or the condition is odd. This is what I'm now doing. Any questions till here? Anyone? Anything till here? What if I slightly change this requirement? Now I don't want a user to enter a number. I want this program to tell me what are all the numbers which are even between 1 to 1000 and what are odd between 1 to 1000. Then what do I do? Sorry, 1000 numbers. Yes. I need to pass 1000 numbers somewhere. From somewhere I need to pass 1000 numbers. When I'm saying it is 1000 numbers, is it just an integer or is it an array of integers? Array of integers. So I'll say again. So now the requirement is that print all even and odd between or starting from 1 ending to 1000. This is all the numbers I want to go ahead and print even and odd out here. So the first thing is that I need an array of numbers. So I'll say numbers is equal to what? Open at the rate open close parentheses. This is, let's say, the array. I now need to declare numbers here. So what I'll do, I'll say 1, I'll say 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, and I'll take around 10 minutes to go ahead and write all the 1000 numbers. This is one way to achieve it. Wherein you can go ahead, do all 1000 numbers, write it out. Or a better way to achieve it is that
Using for loop,
1,
sir.
the
Using for
starting
loop.
number. Sorry.
Using for loop, we can do this.
Yes, using for loop also you can go ahead and produce the numbers, but even more easier is 1 dot dot last number, first number and the last number out here. If I now kind of execute this out and let's see what is got executed. So I'm saying numbers is equal to, I'm just declaring this. Let's print the numbers. Let's say dollar numbers, all the 1000 numbers right now. So I have all the 1000 numbers that are stored in this particular variable, and all I did is I said one dot dot and then I give 1000 here. That's it. That's the only thing that I'm now giving. Now I want to go to each and every number and I want to check this whether the number is even or odd. Then if I want to go to each and every number and check it out, what should I do? Yes, for loop, for each loop. Whenever you have an iteration, meaning whenever I'm telling that you know what, you need to inspect each and every object here, which means some kind of a looping concept needs to come into picture. That's where I'll say let's take for each loop, because we did in the earlier program for loop, right? Let's do a for each. Again, syntax is for each, open close parentheses, the condition, and then the statement inside the brackets. The condition here, I'll say that for each number in numbers. I'm just taking an empty variable called number so that each and every time when I iterate, I can store this out. I will say if is it dollar numbers or is it dollar number that I need to pass here? Dollar number, because numbers is the entire array, number is the string. So I'll say if dollar number, again same logic, divided by 2 gives you a reminder of, let's do a negative condition. If it's not equal to 0, then odd. If it's equal to 0, then even. Then how do I pass not equal to, out here? Ne, right? Hyphen ne, not equal to. I'll say 0. If it's not equal to 0, then what? It is odd or even. Let's say it is right host. Dollar number is odd. Let's say for ground color, let's say red. Else, right host, number is even, right? Dollar number is even. Foreground color, and let's give a yellow here. Let's try to now execute, or let's save and execute this out. Again, I'll save, I'll say even odd array dot ps1. Saving this out, I'll now execute this out. Getting everything? Dollar, let's say something like this. So 1 is even, 2 is odd, and so on and so forth. So it's doing an alternative. That's what it's expected out here. It's going here, taking all the alternative numbers and it's telling one number is even, the other number is odd, and so on and so forth. Good, but again, what do I gain from this particular program? But before I go there, any questions still here? Any questions with this program? Anyone? Any questions with this program till here?
Can you repeat the last one?
This one, the for each.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so let's again do that. So I said it is, firstly I took an array of numbers, and then I am doing a for each over it, meaning I'm iterating over all these numbers. And inside the for each loop, I am now bringing one more loop. It's a loop inside a loop, where I'm telling if dollar number divided by 2 is not equal to 0, meaning it can only be not equal to 0 when the number is odd. So I'm telling, okay, fine. If it is odd, then print this in red. If it's even, then print this in, let's say, something like yellow. So this is now
Numbers.
the loop.
So,
Yeah,
the numbers is the array of string, right?
it's an array of not strings but integers.
Okay, the only number is
Only number is just an integer. It's not an array. It's just an integer out here.
okay.
Mhm. Anything, not a problem. You can do anything. X, Y, Z, A, B, C, anything. If you do X here, make sure this is X also. You can have anything here. Anything out here will kind of suffice. So yeah, go ahead, please. What if you want to print all the odd numbers first and then the even numbers first? So I will have to have different arrays for an odd number, different array for an even number, then print both of them. Meaning, yes, it's a good question. I'll take that also. The question here is that how do you first print the odd numbers and then how do you print the even numbers? First, I want to print the odd. Second, I want to print the even. I am sure that all the odd numbers are being stored here in this particular array. Meaning if the number is odd, it has to come inside this loop. Agreed with my point? If the number is odd, it has to come inside this loop. So what I'll do, even going inside this loop, I'll declare one more array here called odd. I'll say equal to open close parentheses. It's a null array that I'm declaring right now. Whatever number is odd, I want to store inside this particular array. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll say dollar odd plus equal to dollar x. Now why am I doing this? Is because whenever it comes inside this loop, I want to say that this dollar x can be something like 1, 3, 5, 7. All the odds will be dollar x in this particular loop. Whenever it's inside this particular loop, I will say dollar odd plus equal to. If I don't give a plus equal to, let's see what happens here. Let's execute this again. Which number to x? Right host. Yeah, dollar x, correct. So let's take this also to dollar x. So again, I have a numbers. Then I have one more array declared here called odd is equal to open close parenthesis. It's a null array right now that I do have. So let's execute this program. Fine. I want to see what all got stored in dollar odd. What do you think will get stored in dollar odd here? Odd numbers. Let's execute only the dollar odd and see what is there. 999 only. Why did it do 999 only out here? Is because 999 was the last odd number. I'm telling every time for the first time I executed, I'm saying dollar odd is equal to 1. Second time it's doing, I'm saying dollar odd equal to 3. Third time I'm saying dollar odd equal to 5. Every time that I'm executing this loop, I'm changing the value of dollar odd. It is increment, meaning it is going ahead and incrementing it out. Let's do one thing. Let's declare this again as a null value. In order to not increment it, I will say plus equal to, meaning whatever you have, add it, append it, don't overwrite it. So let's go ahead and then execute this program once again. Program got executed. Let's see what is dollar odd now. Getting the point? Now you can save this and then print only this one, meaning if you don't want to print it here, I'll hash it out. I'll comment it out. I don't want to print this here, comment this out. I'll put another loop here, or sorry, not loop. I'll put another array here called even is equal to open something like this. And in here, I'll say dollar even plus equal to dollar x. Because if it's, I mean, dollar x here can only be even numbers here. So let's do this. And in the last, I'll say right host. These are all the odd numbers. And I'll say dollar odd. Right host, I'll say these are all even numbers. Dollar even. Now let's execute this program. So these are all the even numbers. It's only giving you even right now, 2, 4, something like this. Then you have something called odd. All these are odd out here. So these are even, and then above that, all the odd numbers got printed. Getting this? Any questions here, guys? Anything till here? Now, even better, I want to say that I don't want to print it. I want to say whenever I get an odd number, I want to store it in a text file called odd.txt so that I can use it for a future purpose. Whenever I get an even, I want to store it in a, let's say, file called even.txt. Getting the point? I'm not printing it out. I want to store the numbers. Meaning whatever I get here, I want to output it out into a file. I want to output all the numbers into a file. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm getting into. So let's do one thing. Let's again hash these out to avoid confusions. And here I'll say, or here what I need to say is that, let's go down to a CLS. Here what I want to say is that whenever you get an odd, or all the odd numbers are stored in this particular array, all the even numbers are stored in this particular array, please take all the values in this array, give it into, let's say, a text file, or save it into a text file. But the challenge here is that how do I take all these numbers and I want to pass all these numbers to a different command which can go ahead and do an output. I want to take all these numbers and I want to take this as the output, pass it as an input to a different command so that it can go ahead and save it in a file. Now the command to go ahead and save something in a file is called out-file. I'm just writing the command out here. I'll say it is out-file is the command to go ahead and output something into a file. This is what it does. But for this to happen, I need to say that please take this value as the input and save it inside a file called odd.txt. And then again take this as an input, save it into a file called even.txt. This is what I want to do. So what I'm now telling is that by default, if you don't give anything here, PowerShell is just going to go ahead and print everything out. I want to change the default pattern. How do I change the default pattern? Is by using an operator called pipe. There's an operator called pipe operator, PIPE, pipe operator. It's a straight vertical line just before your slash, meaning if you do a shift and then a slash on your keyboard, this is going to come, meaning this is, let's say, let's open my on-screen keyboard. This is the value I'm talking about. The slash, the vertical slash out here, this is the value that I'm talking about. So I'm doing a shift and I'm putting the slash. I'm telling whatever is the output here, please pass it on to another command called out-file. And I will give a file path here and I want to store it into this particular folder. Let's go into my drive here. This is the 9 p.m. PowerShell. This is the folder I want to store it in. I'll copy the path of the folder. This is the path of the folder. I want to store it in the form of even.txt. Sorry, odd.txt. And here also I want to do the same thing. Out file. And I want to save this as even.txt. Let's save this out. Let's see what the directory looks like. So now the directory has even and then even array. This is the two PowerShell scripts that I have. Let's execute the entire script right now. Okay, it's setting file path. Let's close this out. Let's do one thing. Let's remove this parameter called file path here. Let's try to once again execute because it's now asking for a file path. Okay, let's take this out. Let's check the syntax for this one. Let's see this one. Let's do one thing. It's acting a little weird right now. Let's do one thing. I will try to run my PowerShell script from this directory only. Right now, the directory in which my PowerShell is running is C users, something like this, right? So I'll take this particular directory and I'll say it is CD change directory. Give it a different directory out here. Let's do one thing. Let's come here. Let's see if it's able to identify this right now. I'll say odd.txt. I'll explain what is this and etc. I'll say even.txt. Let's see if this works. Let's save this program. Let's run the script. Now it's again asking for a file path parameter. Cannot bind the file path because this is empty. The reason is this. I put a out file here also, which is not the right way. So I'll just remove this out. So I forgot to remove this one. Should work right now. Let's go ahead to this. So it ran in a in a quick second. Do you see there are two more files right now it produced? Even.txt and not.txt. Let's look at that. All the even numbers from, let's say, 1000. All the odd numbers till 1000. 999 will be the last number out here. Now here in my program, there was one thing that I missed. Here there was another out file parameter that I had to remove. I did not remove that. Now here you can give a file path or you can give directly the name of the file. Since you are working in the same directory out here, you don't have to mention the entire directory path, because I am working in what? The same directory. So if I say, if I want to see what is the directory that I'm working, I'll say pwd, present working directory. This is C process, this is G, 9 amps, and after that I said dot, meaning in the same directory, go ahead and create one more file called dot.txt. Getting this? Getting this, guys? Again the same thing. Yes, who's not getting this? Which part you're not getting? Yes. Which one? Which part? Sorry? Out file నుంచి అర్థం కాలేదు. Okay, fine. So this is your out file, but you get what out file is? Going ahead and outputting it. But where do you want to output it? Into a text file, something, into some file. You need to give the file path of something. Instead of me giving the entire path, instead of me coming here and saying hyphen file path and all that stuff, I can give the entire file path. I can say, you know what, come here, take the file path, put the path in. This is your path. What is the name of the file? Backslash even.txt or odd.txt. This is how it should be. Ignoring this parameter, I can say, you know what, take out this parameter. I'm still working in the same directory. I'm working in the same directory, right? I don't have to give the full directory path. I'll just give it till here. I'll replace all this directory with dot. I'll replace the entire directory path with dot, meaning the same in same directory. Go ahead and say odd dot text. So instead of giving all the path, you can easily go ahead and say a dot here. Dot always means the current directory. So even if I do here, if I come here and I say dot backslash, load all the files in the current directory out here. Okay. Any questions still here, guys? CSV, Excel, text, JSON, XML, you can store anything out there. These are the supported file path, or these are the supported formats that you can store it out in. Okay, any questions still here, guys? Is this okay? Is this good? Is this okay, guys? Is this fine?
Somewhat confusing.
Yes. Please practice it. Please try to, let's say, look at the video and once practice it once again. That's the reason I'm going absolutely slow right now. So please practice it and let me know which area you're confused on. We'll kind of, let's say, go over it once again.
Okay.
I think with for loop it would be easy. Like we can simplify this
You can simplify.
using for
Yes, you
loop.
can do that. Yes, but the reason I did not do a for loop is because in the first text I did a for loop. So I wanted to do a for each loop out here. So anything is okay. Anything is okay until and unless your logic is working fine. Guys, can you please? We'll talk after the class. Okay. Yes. Any questions here? Yes. It represents a series. Yes. If you don't give a two dot, it won't take it. It'll start failing out. Sorry, three dots. It would still won't take. Only two dots. It's a syntax representing the first, everything between it, and something. If you want to change the series, 51 dot dot thousand, it'll start from 51. So you can represent what is the start, what is the ending, and then go ahead and let's say do this. Names won't take a series. Number can represent a series. Names won't take a series. Names you'll have to, let's say, still go ahead and do your logic out there. Yes, any questions still here? This, yes, someone said that for loop is easier here. Yes, for loop is easier. Yes, I agree with that. But since we already covered for loop here, I do not want to again do a for loop. I wanted to do a for each loop out here.
Here,
Yes.
here, why we are taking percentile 2? I mean, we
Uh,
can add any number, 5, 6.
uh, the percentile here, guys, can you please, guys, I'm explaining something. Please calm down. The reason I'm doing a percentile here is because I want to divide something. This is my condition. Because if I want to get an even or an odd, I'll have to do some kind of a condition out here. That's the reason I'm saying percentile here is a division.
I'm
Does that answer your
asking
question?
percentile 2. Why we are using percentile 2? I mean percentile 5,
Mhm.
percentile 6. We can use or only two used to be used.
For odd
By
and
the
Two
even.
have to
definition
be
of an
used.
even number, now by the definition of an even number, the definition of an even number is that if it is divided by 2 and leaves a 0 as a reminder, it's an even.
Okay.
If I do a 4, then I'm calculating a leap year, not an even number. So the
Okay.
definition of an even number is that if I divide it by 2 and then go ahead and leave a reminder of 0, it's an even or it's an odd. So I am doing an even odd. That's the reason I'm doing a 2, not anything else like 5, 6 or something like
Okay. Okay.
that. Sorry. If 3 is taken, then it won't sit in a definition of even and odd number. See, because I'm doing an even odd, I can do a, let's say a 2 and let's say something like that. But let's say if you want to get all the multiples of 3, then you can go ahead divide it by 3, tell that is equal to 0. If it's is equal to 0, it's divided by 3. It's a multiple of 3. So the program will change depending upon what you want to achieve. I want to achieve an even odd. If you want to, let's say all the multiples of 5, you can divide it by 5 equal to 0. Then it's a multiple of 5. So that's the reason I am doing, let's say 2 here. Even in our calculators, the same logic actually works. Our calculators also come with the same program out here. When you put us two different programs out there, it'll just go ahead run a, let's say script in the background and give you a result out. Okay, it will work. Even in the entire path will work, but you don't have to give the entire path. Is what I'm telling. It'll work. It'll still work. Even if I don't give, or even if I give the entire path here, it's still going to take and it's still going to work. Not an issue. You can, yes, you can give the entire directory and then say what is the folder you want to save it and all that stuff. Yes, yes, output in a different directory. The actual PowerShell is one directory, the output is in a different directory. Yes, you can do that also. Any directory you give, it will go ahead and save it there. Yes, any more questions, guys? Online, offline, anyone?
Can I save it in a Excel also? If
You can save it in an Excel also. So instead of giving odd.txt, say odd.csv,
okay,
comma separated value. Instead of doing, let's say Excel, I mean, instead of doing text, you can also get it done in an Excel too. Yes, any questions, guys? Is this okay? Fine. Now, the last 2 days, we have been doing something called Windows PowerShell. This is a Windows PowerShell that we've been doing, meaning using PowerShell, we have been going ahead and we have been interacting with the Windows operating system of our machine. So, all these things is your operating system which is doing this, meaning the calculation and all that stuff. This is the operating system which is giving you the output. Now, the challenge is that how do I use the same thing with Azure? Meaning the same logic and all that stuff with something called Azure out there. That is something that we will be seeing. And in order for me to talk to a cloud called Azure, my PowerShell that is installed on my laptop needs to understand the cloud language called Azure. And the cloud language of Azure is called AZ module. It's called a module that I need to install out here, which we will be looking at on how do you go ahead install a module. How do you use that module which is installed? What are the common troubleshooting or what are the common issues that you'll face there and etc. That is something that we are going to see. And once we install a module, let's go ahead and run some basic commands like let's say creating a resource group. How do you go ahead create a resource group from your local machine and using PowerShell and not on the Azure portal? how do we go ahead and do that? These are the basic concepts that we are going to look into tomorrow. But let me, I don't want to, let's say, rush it on to you all right now. Let's go through it, see the syntax. If I am doing a 2, try to go ahead and do a 3 and see how it works out for you, or try to do a 5, divided by 5, or try to do some other loop and see how it works out for you. So it's all about logic, guys. Again, the beauty of programming is that if I am writing this is not just the one way to write it. There are 10,000 ways to write this program. I'm not telling this is the only way and this is right. If your until your program is working, anything is right. Until your program is working, any logic is right, because the way I think, the way you think is different. So what my intention to do is that think in your own way, because now you go ahead, you try to, let's say, replicate my program. That is fine, you'll get the result. But you cannot, when you go into a real time environment, start working, right? You'll have to think the different ways how you can, let's say, achieve a program out here. So my, let's say, uh, role as a tutor is to make sure that you all think. I'm not trying to, let's say, put something into you all. I'm trying to extract something from you all. So just think how different you can write this program. Even if it is error, not a problem. We are still good with that. But please think and write it, let's say, in your own idea. If it fails, let me know what is it that you're trying to achieve. Send out an email telling me what is it that you're trying to achieve. And also please attach your PowerShell scripts on the email when it fails, so that I can go and take a look at your PowerShell, reproduce the error at my end, then correct this out. Okay. Okay, then that's it from mine. Have a good day ahead, and we'll meet tomorrow and we'll discuss, continue on this one. Thank you, guys.
Uh, Excuse me. So,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
as I'm new to scripting, like how to
Hmm.
learn and identify like what is string and what is array, like that. So how to
Sorry,
start?
can you come again with your how to
Uh,
start again?
Actually,
It's
I'm
all
new
about,
new to this scripting. Yeah.
okay.
So how to identify like it is a string and it is a array, where which one is array, which one is string,
It is purely
like
practice, pure
okay,
practice. Like, the way, the better you practice, the better you can, kind of follow the syntax out there. So it's all
okay,
about pure practice out there.
okay. Yeah, thanks.
Anything like specific script is there, or like we have to practice randomly, like any programming we want to do it, like we will type by ourselves.
Just give me a second. I'm not able to hear your question. There's a lot of background noise in the class right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can
Am
you
I
go ahead
audible
with your
to you?
question? Yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah.
audible now. Please go
So,
ahead.
like you explained about the calculator and like
Hmm.
odd and even. So, is
Okay.
that kind of like certain example for this scripting, or like anything? Suppose I want to palindrome
Hmm.
or like that, I can try that.
You can
Like
definitely
suppose,
try that. You can go, do a prime, do a palindrome. You can definitely try that. Yes, you can do that. But all I'm trying to do is that using these examples, I'm trying to just, help you introduce with, let's say, the PowerShell basic.
okay, so what is the exactly effect for the Azure and the like through this PowerShell? Like, is it mandatory to learn this PowerShell for this Azure?
I would say the job profile, if you look at things out, especially for an Azure DevOps engineer, they
Okay,
say PowerShell is one of the skill set that they are looking at. The reason being,
okay,
you need some sort of an automation, because if I want to
okay.
create 100 resource groups and etc., I need to, let's say, figure out an automatic way to go ahead and create it out. So I would say yes, this is somewhat mandatory, but there are other ways to also achieve it out. But somewhat mandatory, the basic syntaxes should be good for now.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question, Bishwajit?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. I got it.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just stop the session right now, and we'll meet tomorrow.